students, welcome to our physics class. Our chapter name is Stars and Solar System. Today we are going to conclude this chapter. And which is our last topic? We discussed about the planets in the solar system. And which are the planets we discussed? We discussed about Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. In the last class, we discussed about these things. Now, which are the things left in this list of planets? They are Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. These are the three planets left to discuss. Today first we are going to discuss these. Only some of the points are there with this. So first we are going to discuss about Saturn. We said that Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. So the next one is Saturn. Saturn. And this planet is yellowish in color. This is yellowish in color. Saturn is yellowish in color. And this Saturn is having beautiful rings around this. This ring means if this is our Saturn, you can see something is there. In all the pictures of the Saturn, you can see something like this. And this is actually what? The rings present around the Saturn, and this is something more brighter than the Jupiter. When we discussed about the Jupiter, we said that it is having some fainted rings around it. So, comparing to that, these rings are more brighter than this. But the thing is this, we cannot see this with our naked eye. But what I am saying about these rings, we cannot see these rings with our naked eyes, but we can see it using some telescope. So we can see the ring using some telescope. And for the Saturn, it is also having large number of satellites. It is having 82 moons. The Saturn have 82 moons. The next point about the Saturn is this. This is the less denser. This is the less denser planet than all other planets. That means this Saturn is having less density. And what is this density means? I think you already know about the density. And when the density is less, that will get float. For example, when we are selecting a beaker and filling this with water and kerosene, and when we are mixing this, what happens? Do they get mixed? No, they won't get mixed, and a particular substance will be at top and some will be at bottom. Which is at top and which is at bottom? You can see that the kerosene at the top and the water at the bottom. So we can say this kerosene is less denser than water. That's why it is at the top. This kerosene is less denser. This kerosene is less denser. So, in the similar way, in your textbook, they are simply saying that when we consider this Saturn is there in a pot, the Saturn will be float. We are just considering a pond is there, pond is filled with water, and when the Saturn is fell down on this pot, you can see that the Saturn will float. What it means? The density of Saturn is less than water. The density of Saturn is less than water. So these are all the things about the Saturn. Some of the points are it is yellowish in color, it is having number of satellites are there, and it is around 82 moons. And for this planet the density is very less than all other planets, and the value is lesser than water also for the density. So this is all about the Saturn, and also want to remember this Saturn is having some rings around this planet. The next is Uranus and Neptune. We are talking about this together, Uranus and Neptune. Uranus and Neptune. These are the planets that present very far from the Sun. Very far from the Sun, and actually they are the outermost planets. Outermost planets. That means we know the Sun is at the center and all other planets are revolving, and this Uranus and Neptune are the outermost planets. That means the last planets. The next is this. We cannot see this with normal cases. If we want to see these planets, we want to use very high power telescope. High power telescope. That is, we can only see this Uranus and Neptune with high power telescope. What is the reason? Because it is too much far from our Earth and also from the Sun. The next point is this. One thing is about the Uranus, not about Neptune. For the Uranus, what about the rotation? Which is the direction? About the Uranus, this is the peculiarity. Its rotation or revolution. Its revolution is from east to west. It is rotated from east to west. East to west. In the last session, I already said about one planet that it is also rotating from east to west. Which is that? That we said it as the Venus. So, in the solar system, only this Uranus and also this Venus is only rotating from east to west. All other planets are rotating from west to east. So, you want to remember. And our Earth is also rotating from west to east. What about this? This is the reverse of this. The two planets Uranus and the Venus are rotating the reverse of the Earth. That means the east to west. Just put it in your mind. And the other thing is this. The rotational axis is highly tilted. When we talk about the Earth, we said that it is having tilt for the axis, and so this axis for this Uranus having highly tilted axis. Highly tilted axis. Highly tilted axis. So, this is all about this, and don't think that we are talking this about the Neptune. Neptune is rotating from west to east. So, this is all about this Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Now, we completed the explanation for the planets. Now, I am going to classify this very simple thing. That is, we studied about different planets. That the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and then the next is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. These are the planets. Now I am going to call all these 4 planets planets. That means these four are near to Sun. So we call it as inner planets. And the further four is what? Outer planets. Outer planets. So this is inner planets and that is outer planets. And the one thing is this. These inner planets only have few moon. Only have few moon. For these inner planets, for the Mercury and Venus there is having no moon. For the Earth 1 and for the Mars it is 2. And when we are talking about this Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, it is having large number of moon. So for the outer planets it is having large number of moons. So this is the simple classification and we can say this is near to Sun and they are very far to Sun. And this is called inner planets and that is called outer planets. It is having few moon and that is having large number of moon. So this is all about this. We discussed about the Sun. Then we discussed about planets. Now we are going to discuss about the other things present in our solar system. The first one is this asteroids. Asteroids. Now the question is, what is this asteroids? I will show you what is this asteroids. The Sun is at the center. Here, Mars is present here and you can see a huge gap between this Mars and the Jupiter. And this Jupiter is the biggest one. So, just observe that for the Mars and the Jupiter, it is having higher gap or the distance. And within this gap, you can see large number of small objects are present. Large number of small objects are present and these objects are revolving around Sun. These objects are revolving around Sun. Revolving around Sun. So, these are called what? Asteroids. So, how we can define this? We can say it as large gap is there between the Mars and the Jupiter. And they occupy large number of small objects revolve around Sun. And these are called asteroids. Very simple thing. In between the Mars and Jupiter, there is having large number of very tiny particles, not particles, some objects which is just rotating or revolving around the Sun and that is called asteroids. So, and the only thing is that we can only see this through large telescope. We already said that it is very small objects. So, it is difficult to observe but we can see that using large telescope. This is only about the asteroids. You want to study the definition or the explanation of the asteroids. Now we are going to the next one, that is comets. What is this comet means? This is also present in our solar system. Comets. So, comets are the objects that revolve around the Sun. Revolve around Sun in highly elliptical orbit. So, the comets are revolve around Sun in highly elliptical orbit. Means what? Means this. our sun is here. Normal planets are revolving within a particular length, but this large or highly elliptical orbit means they are moving with that much higher orbit. That is the meaning of this. It revolves around the sun in highly elliptical orbit means that is moving with very large length of orbit. That is about that. The next point is this. We already said that when the distance is increasing from the sun, the period of revolution will be get increased. We already discussed in the last class. So what about the orbit of this comet? Actually, the period of the revolution of the comet is higher. The period of the comet revolution is higher. The reason is this. Its elliptical orbit is highly big, or it is very big. That is the reason for that. The next is this. Now we want to study what is this comet. We said that it is moving in highly elliptical orbit. That means it is moving very far from the sun. That is the simple meaning of that. And the revolution or the period of revolution is higher. We discussed that. Now the question is, what is this comet or how this comet looks like? The thing is very simple. It have a bright head. It have bright head and a long tail. This is having a bright head and a long tail. This is actually a type of star. So comets having a bright head and a long tail. And when it is moving near to sun, its tail grows in its size. That means we can see that it is having a long tail, but when it is moving towards the sun, then the length of the tail is getting increased. That is the point. And also, the tail always directed away from the sun. That means always this will move like that, and not it will like the tail is here and the head will be here. Not possible. That means always the tail is away from the sun. What is near to the sun? Now its near is the head part and the tail is away from the sun. The only thing very simple. And we can say this comet appears periodically. That means it will come with a regular time interval. That may come with large number of years or centuries like that. It is depend upon each and every comet. And now we are going to study about one comet. The example is this Halley's comet. Halley's comet. The name of one comet. And this come within 76 years. We already said that these comets are coming with a periodic duration. That means it will come with a regular time interval. And that time for this Halley's comet is 76 years. 76 years. And it last occurred at 1986. That means the last seen of this Halley's comet is 1986. 1986. And when it will come next it will appear at 2062. So this is the next appearance of this Halley's comet. Just remember the name of this and the last appearance of the year. And you want to remember this comes with 76 years. Only these things about the comets. And in your textbook there something is like the superstitions about the comets. That means the ancient people think that these comets are something like the bad luck. That means when this came in the sky, the people thought that some sort of disasters, war like that will come. And that is some messenger like thing. They thought like that. But that is actually superstitious belief. That means it is only myth. That is only myth. That means it is only a false belief. And what is this comet? It is only a phenomenon, or it is only a object that comes in our sky and that is not having any role in our life, and don't think it is something like mysterious or something. Only this is star and just look it like that, and we don't have to afraid of these comets, and all such beliefs are wrong. This is about the comets. The next we want to study about the meteor and meteorites. This is our next topic. Now the question is, what is this? When you observe in the dark night at the sky, and if there is no moon, you can see some sort of lines are there at the sky. Some sort of lines are there present at the sky. And what is that? Is it any type of star? Actually, it is not star, and that is what this meteor. Now we are going to discuss what is this meteor. This meteor is a small object. This meteor. First we are going to discuss about the first one, that is the meteor. It is the small object that occasionally
1 a.m.
that occasionally enters Earth's surface. Earth's surface. So, what surface of the atmosphere? We can say it like that. So, the meteor is what? Some small objects that occasionally means it is not coming regularly. Sometimes some sort of small objects are entering to Earth's atmosphere, and that is what this measures. And the other thing is this, it is moving with high speed. It is moving with, not simply think that small speed, it is highly speed object. So we can say it moves with very high speed. So it moves with very high speed, and because of this high speed there occurs something, that we said that this is our Earth, and this Earth is having atmosphere, and some sort of small objects are coming to the atmosphere of the Earth. And the thing is this, in our atmosphere we have friction. We already discussed about the friction in the last chapters. So our atmosphere is having friction, and because of this reason, and we said that this moving object is very speed. So with the speed and the friction, what happens is that it evaporates quickly. It evaporates quickly. So that's why we are seeing some sort of lines are there passing at the sky, and it will be there for some time, and after some time it will just vanish. So the reason is this, what? With the friction present at the atmosphere, the highly moving metals are just evaporates, and they will sustain for some time, and after some time what happens? It will vanish. And we can see brightly, we will say it like that, bright streaks of light at sky. This streaks means the lines. We already said that we can see some lines. So at the night we can see some days they have bright streaks of light at sky, and that is what actually matters. And the thing is that commonly we are calling this bright streaks of light at sky a name, and that name is called shoot star. Shoot star. The reason is this, we can see that just it is moving very fast, and after that it is getting vanished. That means they are calling it as shoot star. But don't think this meteors or it is star. This is not a star. What? It is some sort of object that is moving very highly speed object, and it will evaporate with the friction of the atmosphere. And that is about this, and the name is this shoot star, but don't think this is a star. This is not a star. And we completed meteors, and now we want to discuss about this meteorites. What is this? So some meteors are large. We said that this is a small objects, but some of the meteors are large, and so they reach Earth before evaporate completely. And so some meteors are large in size, and because of that reason they reach at the Earth atmosphere before evaporate completely. We said that with the friction it will evaporate fast. So because of the large size, some of the meteors do not get evaporate, and the body, and what happens is that it will reach at the surface of the Earth. So we can say the body that reach Earth is called this meteorites. That means we said the large sized meteors that reach at the Earth, and the body that reach our Earth is called what? Meteorites. Something related to this, but big ones will reach the Earth, and after some time it will get again evaporates, and what reaches on the Earth, or what body reaches on Earth is what? Meteorites. That is about that. So this topic is over, and in your textbook you can also see one thing: meteor shower. The thing is this: meteor shower. What is this meteor shower? This is very simple. That means when the Earth cross the tail of comet, that means we said that comet is there, it is having one tail and a head is there. When the Earth cross the comet, what happens? We can see at the sky a group of meteors are present. We can see at the sky there is having a group of meteors are there present, and we call it as meteor shower. What is this? When the Earth is crossing the tail of one comet, we can see large number of meteors. That means we can see large number of lines are there present at the sky, and that is called what? Meteor shower. Simple. Now we are going to discuss the last topic in this chapter, and that is artificial satellite. I already gave some introduction about this in the previous classes about this artificial satellite. Satellite is what that revolve around the planet. First thing we discussed. And then it is having two types, that is natural satellite is there and artificial satellite is there. Natural satellite is the original one. And the artificial satellite is, now we are going to study, some things are only included. Artificial what is this artificial satellite? This is the man-made satellite. Man-made satellite. And also human beings are launching this. That means we are sending this satellite from Earth to other places. So we can say launch. We use this term for taking this satellite from our Earth to other planets or to the surface. So, this is launched from Earth. Satellite, these artificial satellites are launched from Earth. That is the next thing. And also, our Earth is this, and we know our moon is revolving around Earth. But the thing is, artificial satellites are actually revolving nearer than the moon. If it is one artificial satellite, we can say this revolves closer than Earth's natural satellite. The simple thing is this, it will move closer than this moon. So that is the next thing. That means whenever artificial satellites is moving far apart, it do not get the proper usage. That means it is having certain limit for getting the signals and all. And now the question is, which is the first Indian satellite? First Indian satellite is Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta. This is the first Indian satellite we launched. Aryabhatta, you want to remember this name. First Indian satellite. And also, this is the first one. And now you want to study some of the artificial satellites, and that is INSAT. INSAT. INSAT is the, IRS is the, Kalpana 1 is the, EduSat is the, EDUSAT. So these are some of the artificial satellites, and you can also collect another names for the artificial satellites. So this is about INSAT is the, IRS is the, Kalpana 1 is the, EduSat is the, these are some of the artificial satellites, and the first artificial satellite of our India that we launched is Aryabhatta. The next is, why we are launching these artificial satellites? What is the purpose of this? Now we are going to discuss why we are launching these artificial satellites. What is the purpose? The purpose are very simple. The first one is for the weather forecast. Weather forecasting. That means nowadays we are able to identify that the storm is coming or the tsunami is coming. Like all the things, we are getting the details. Where we are getting these details from? We are getting these details from the artificial satellites we launched at the surface. So the first purpose is this for the weather forecast, and today's satellites are very powerful and they are very accurate. So first one is weather forecasting. The next one is this transmitting television and radio signals. Transmitting television and radio signals. That means when we on the TV, we get some sort of films are there or the signals are there. That means we can see serials. Like all the things are broadcasting from some place, from Tirunelveli or some sort of places, or like America or everywhere we get certain signals in the television and radio. How it is possible? It is possible with the help of artificial satellites. Don't think that for all the purpose we are using the same satellite. For each purpose we have different types of satellites are there. The next one is this. The next purpose is for remote sensing. Remote sensing. That is about the remote sensing. This remote sensing means we can get huge amount of data. That means we can collect large amount of data. That is what this remote sensing means. And also we have another communication. How we are connecting this telephone is the mobile phones are the we can connect with the internet. All these things are actually with the help of the artificial satellites. And actually the invention of the artificial satellite is one of the very big invention. So we can say this telecommunication is possible with the help of artificial satellites. The effective usage of the telecommunication is because of the artificial satellites. So these are some of the purpose that we are launching the artificial satellites. That is for the weather forecast, for transmitting the television and the radio signals, for remote sensing, for telecommunication, etc. So it is around the last of our chapter. In this chapter we discussed about different celestial bodies and the things that is there at the space. And now my question is, what is the name of this branch? Have any name for this branch that we can study about the celestial bodies, sun, moon, comets, stars like that? Have any name? Definitely it is having one name, and the branch have the name of astronomy. Astronomy. So what is this astronomy? The study of celestial objects, study of celestial objects and phenomenon called astronomy. And don't think that this is confused with the astrology. This is something entirely different, and for the science having no such evidences are there. So don't get confused with this astrology, that is entirely different, and our topic is what? Astronomy, N-O-M-Y, astronomy. And this is about the study of celestial objects, means the things present in our sky, space, and the related phenomenon. This is all about this chapter. So our chapter is over. You want to read your textbook 3-4 times, and we will meet in our next class with the next chapter. So now you want to do one thing. Please complete the exercise questions. In your textbook we have large number of questions are there. It is around 16 questions, but most of the things you can do in your textbook itself. No need of writing the questions or nothing. You can do the questions from 1 to 8 in your textbook itself, and the 9, 10, 12 and the 14 we can do in the notebook. So if it is possible to do these questions, if you have space in the textbook, you can write it in your textbook itself using pencil. Don't use pen in your textbook. And after completing this, I will give the answers to check. First you want to do these questions. Very simple, one word questions and all, most of them. So you can write it in the textbook itself. So we are concluding this chapter, and in the next class we will start the next chapter, and it's enough for today.